Hello, everyone. My name is Eleanor Meyer, and I'm here today with Maria Powell. Hello, and we're here with Lisa Marie today, and we will be talking with her about her Europe tour because she's coming to Amsterdam for her special business Alchemy Live event. Yay!
Yay! Yes.
And we surely want to know everything about you, Lisa, and everything about all you're going to do in Amsterdam. So, welcome, Lisa.
Hi, thank you for having me to play. I'm so excited. I've been to Amsterdam before, as you know, Eleanor, and I'm
I know.
really excited to come back again because it's been 2 years and everyone was like, can you come back next week? And I'm like, no, it's been a while. I didn't know it was going to be 2 years though.
Oh my God, I'm so glad you're back because this was fabulous. It was just so all of a sudden you showed up in Amsterdam. So for me, it was all of a sudden. So it really
Cool.
made a difference. So I'm glad you're back.
Cool, thank you. So,
okay.
Yeah, maybe we could, Lisa, maybe you could tell us a bit, or the audience about yourself and what you do, just to give them an introduction.
yeah, sure. So, okay, my name's Lisa Murray. I'm from Australia and I have a business called Creativity Lab, which is all about inviting people to nurture their ideas into reality. And we do that in all kinds of different ways. And wow, what will I start with? So I have lots of different programs. I do lots of live events all over the world. And I have a book coming soon, really soon, which is called Stop Waiting, Start Creating. And yeah, look, really for me, I love business. I love creating things. I love seeing ideas come to fruition. And I love having all of that show up in really playful, fun ways rather than taking it really seriously.
Oh, great. Well, that sounds so really good because I so recognize that. It's a way. It's a different way of doing business. It's a different way of nurturing your ideas, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, most business is about like force and making it happen. You know, like people have such a thing about, I'm going to make it happen. And it's really like, well, what if you would just play with it and allow it to happen however it can? You know, like today, I've been to Brisbane, which is about 2 hours drive from where I am now. And for every client, I thought I would be 10 minutes late because the traffic was really slow and everything. So each time I would text the client saying, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. And every time I was there on time. And it should have been physically impossible. And if I was trying to make it happen to get there on time, I would have been late because I would, well, nothing I can do with this traffic except ask for the green lights. There I was on time every time. And this is literally how our businesses can work as well, because we try and make something happen in a timing that actually doesn't work. And if you allow it to occur in the timing it can occur in, there's such an ease to it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Lisa. I mean, could you give us a tool on that or a question on that?
Yeah, well, literally, I was like looking at, okay, so what are the changeable things here? The slow driver in front of me, when you've only got one lane, is not so changeable. What is changeable is the lights being green, right? So I would look always for what's the thing I can have an influence on. And I just literally kept asking for, okay, so can the lights be green? Can the slow drivers get out of my way? You know, and if there was a choice of 2 ways to go, I'd go, well, which way is going to be the fastest? You know, so it's literally asking these questions that sometimes can be really, really simple rather than deciding that we know the answer and that we're going to do it that way no matter what, which is what a lot of people do in business.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot about the plans and a lot about following plans and not actually asking questions. Is this the right time to implement this plan? Or is this the right time to bring this into the market? Or is this the right time to launch it?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Also in business, we tend to focus on fixing and solving problems. And I know that you have a very different way of doing that. Different way of approaching that.
The funny thing is, I used to put on my CV problem solver. And I used to get all these jobs
Oh my God.
full of problems. Oh my God, I cannot tell you. And I ran into this guy one day that I'd known for years, and he'd been the CEO of some pretty cool organizations. And he looked at me and he said, "You're there?" He said, "You get the good jobs, don't you?" And he wasn't being, serious. He was like, "Another job with problems?" And I was like, oh, and it started me thinking, wow, why do I ask for these jobs? Because I did like the idea of a challenge, right? I like to be able to solve things. But what I've realized, and, I've taken quite the long way around to get there, is that it's actually much more fun to create something really fast with a lot of ease than it is to solve a problem. And so when people are looking for a challenge, it's like, well, are you looking to prove that you're really good at fixing things, or are you looking to create something so supersonically amazing and so fast that people are like, what? How did you do that? I know which one I prefer now that I've tried both.
Yeah, and it's so funny because so many people love problems, and they think it's normal to have problems and to work really hard. Oh my God, you really have to work hard on this product, otherwise it doesn't work. But what if there's another way to do that?
Yeah.
What if it can be at ease?
This is it. Because like a couple of weeks ago, I actually launched an online program called Business Alchemy Lab, which Maria has been working with me on as well. And what's been really interesting, like my body got really, really, really tired to the point where I was bed. It was just bed. And right at lunchtime, and I'm like, this doesn't really work. But I didn't make my body wrong, and I didn't go into fixing and solving it. I just looked at, okay, so what is possible here? And, we came up with a few workarounds, and we did what we could do. And, there's 60 people in it in less than 10 days. So I can't complain about that. Like, I'm really happy with that as a start, And it's literally this thing of where if we allow what can be rather than making something wrong, because, I was talking to a coaching client today about it, and I said, well, what if you never made anything in your business wrong? What if you just went, okay, so what if this is showing me a different way forward? And that's what I've looked at in these last couple of weeks. And I've realized, oh, well, my body doesn't want to work this hard anymore. So how else can we create things, And it's that I think I'm inviting people to with the Business Alchemy Live 2-day event in Amsterdam, because it's this thing of like, we get so ingrained in our habits of how we do things. And we never stop to look at it and go, well, what if there's a better way? What if there's a more fun way? What if there's a way that would create so much more, even beyond what we know is possible? And when you start asking for that, it's amazing what shows up,
Wow, that sounds really, really nice.
Yeah, well, it is. And like, that's what I'm saying is, if you've ever thought, gee, business should be different. I don't really like it how it is. And if you've ever thought, oh my gosh, I work too hard, then yeah, that's really where you want to come and play with us, because we're going to be really quite creative in the ways we look at business and the ways we look at how you create business, because it can be a really fun, joyful, pleasurable experience. It doesn't have to be hard work.
No. So you also said it's going to be, when we were talking before, it's going to be quite practical what we're going to do. Yes.
Can you
explain a little bit more about that?
Sure, because I would love people to actually bring their business projects and bring their business ideas and the things that they would like to move forward on. Because I know that all of us pretty much have this nice, quiet little collection of ideas, usually sitting in a corner somewhere, that has never, you? that hasn't really ever seen the light of day. And there's always, what I've been really looking at in these last few weeks is there's always with that, there's something that we think is impossible. And when we actually unpack the impossible, there's always a really cool way forward that's very fun. And I've been doing this with clients ever since I sort of looked at, my body and Business Alchemy Lab and what went on there. And I'm like, oh, every single time there's this very fun way forward. And every single time someone's not creating something, there's something in there that they think isn't possible, which actually is. You've just got to look at it from a totally different place. And, that's one of the gifts of my particular brain, is that I do see the world really differently. And I often see the really obvious thing that someone's not seeing, or I see the very unobvious thing that the moment you say it to them, they're like, oh my gosh. And, the relief through their whole universe is awesome. Yeah. Wow. So we will be hands-on with all the things you'd like to change and create.
Yeah. And I guess, Lisa, what you said, a lot of people make creating business very heavy, or very, it's like it's like it's a really chore, and you make it really fun and light and so different. And I know there's a lot of people that have many gifts to bring to the world and have a gift, but are terrified and really afraid to bring it out to the world. And I guess you have. I guess you have a lot of tools to help those that have these challenges.
Yeah. It's a really interesting thing because and okay, so what you just asked me is a really huge topic. Just for everyone who's listening, 'cause it's like, where am I going to go with this one? Because there's like 1,000 things I could say. And I think one of the there's a few big things, but one of them is that if you have a sense of something, but you don't know exactly what it looks like, a lot of people are looking for the perfect idea, the perfect plan before they will start. And one of the things I'm so very grateful for is I've always been very curious. And so I've always been willing to experiment. And what I can see is like over the last 8 years, I've probably designed 100 different little experiments in my business that have brought me to this point here now. And it's actually made the launch of Business Alchemy Lab, the membership site, really, really easy because all the experimenting has been done over this time. And so one of the things I would say is if you're sitting on the edge thinking, oh, will I come, won't I come? What if, what if? There's always 1,000 what ifs. What if you would look at just the idea of, well, what if you got started? Because for a lot of people, just getting started is the thing that actually allows the forward movement and the creation. And then for some other people, of course, there's the thing of finishing. And I don't mind which side of it you're on, and the thing is, people love to call this procrastination if you're not starting or you're not finishing. And I always think it's such a mean word, actually, because it literally, just the word makes you feel wrong, right? And what I know from coaching a lot of people over the years is it's almost never what people refer to as procrastination. It's always something else. And one of the things that I hope we will play with in these 2 days is whether you can't start, whether you can't finish, or whether you're just stuck in the middle going, where do I go next? That we're going to find a way forward for you. We're going to actually find probably a variety of paths actually that you could take so that you've got choice and so that every day you can wake up and actually be happy about what you're creating. Because a lot of what I find is the most paralyzed people are often also the most talented people, in reference to what you actually asked as a question, because it's like you've got so much choice and where do you start? And I mean, and I've been through that, and I love actually playing with it with people because the cool thing about the universe is it always shows us a really easy place to start, but usually we're looking for the hard place to start. And so we don't see the easy ones. And what I'm really good at is when I talk to someone, I can see those easy places. And it's literally like, well, what if you start here? And what if you start that over there? And then at some point, all those different starting points come together and create something that's greater than what you even imagined it could be.
Yeah, so people can really come to these days and bring their own ideas.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if they're ready for the first step, you can help them. We're with a group, to get them into the first step. And what I really like about you and about what I've seen 2 years ago is that you've been in business. Yeah. You've been in the corporate business, but you're also a very consciousness person and you see the world so different. So the combination of those two can bring a lot of special things in your business, and you can teach people a lot about the tools. Can you tell us maybe a little bit more about this combination of being you in the business before and what you do now?
Yeah. Actually, I'll give you a very, very short potted history. So in my 20s, so I grew up in a family that had businesses, right? So business has always been there. And we were always taught as kids to create and also to, make money from our creations. So I grew up knowing that was normal. And then, of course, my parents thought I should go to university. So I went and I learned all this stuff. And, well, actually, I didn't go to too many lectures, but I learned some stuff. Anyway. I learned enough to get a job, right? And, you can look at that and go, well, that was a good thing or not. I'm not sure now. But what I realized was, so I spent about 20 years in all sorts of different businesses, like working for other people, because I was very curious and I wanted to try everything. So I worked in really tiny businesses. I worked in all sorts of different business models. And one of the interesting things about that was, like, in my 20s, I just broke all the rules. I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. That's a stupid idea. And I would literally just do whatever I wanted to do. And I was very good at getting bosses who would allow that and actually would find ways, because I was good at what I did, they would find ways to allow me to have that magic. And then in my 30s, I don't know what happened, but I got a few bosses that weren't so cool. and I also took on jobs that were really problematic, as we were talking about before. And so I lost some of that fun, playful confidence that I had, because it was like everything was a problem, and I lost the trust actually in my intuitive knowing, because in my 20s that was very clear, and I had no problem ever saying what I thought to anyone because I trusted what I knew. And what I've seen is that in my 30s that sort of got really lost, amongst a whole lot of different situations, and I ended up with really severe burnout, and so I quit corporate. And then I've been working for myself for almost 10 years now, and it's such a joy, because all of that sort of intuitive, playful, creative energy that actually made me so good at what I did in my 20s has come back. And what I know is that when you include all of that in your business, it allows you to leapfrog. Like, you don't really function within those sort of parameters of the competition and, all that kind of stuff that normal business does, because you're tapped into a totally different source of creation and a totally different way of creating. And when you don't hamstring yourself with the rules of how it should be done, if you actually just go to, well, what's going to create the most and how much fun can I have with this, then it's a really different process. And, I wake up happy pretty much every day. Like, even, the last couple of weeks when I've been really tired, I've still been happy because I enjoy what I do. And I think when you start to create your business from the space we're talking about, you actually create a business that you love. You create a business that's amazing for who you are, that matches the talents and gifts that you have. And you create something that allows you to be more in the world and for you to make a bigger difference in the world. And that's the really fun stuff about it,
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That is wow. Yeah. Can't wait to get started.
Okay, well, it's not long. It's only a few weeks. I'll be there.
I know.
We can have you in Amsterdam, actually, Lisa. We're on the countdown.
Yeah. Well, what is it, about 3 weeks? Would it be right? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
We have June the 1st. You're going to be doing an evening workshop.
Taster.
So that will taster, so about 2 to 2.5 hours. And that will be really an introduction to business alchemy and the magic you can really bring, you can really facilitate with business. And then we will have on the Friday and Saturday, I think, Eleanor, it's June 3rd and 4th. Lisa, then an actual 2-day workshop. Yeah.
And that's where we're going to get all juicy on the projects and create magic, which is the fun bit.
Yeah, create magic. And and I'd love you to tell more about this model you made, because you've been introducing a business model.
Yes,
which is different.
Yeah.
And
so
I have it here.
Would you like me to talk about? Because there's lots of pieces to it, and we're not going to do it all in this call just because it would take too long. So, but if you give me a piece of it you would like me to talk about, I'm very happy to do that.
Yeah, that will be great. Maria, you told earlier you had a piece you really want to know about.
Yeah, well, I guess, particularly in business, we're all about planning. And I think we touched on that earlier. We're all about planning the roadmap for 2020, planning the roadmap for the future.
Yes.
Planning. Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second, right? Because there's something really funny about planning. And so I did an MBA, right? So I know, and I worked for big organizations, and I ran the planning for an entire division of about 500 staff. So planning, I know about that. And here's the really hilarious thing about planning. Have you ever made a plan for the next day and it didn't work out like that at all?
Yes.
Of course.
Right. And this is what happens with planning, right? You make all these plans and either they don't work out the way you thought, or you're so bored by them by the time you made the plans, you don't want to make them anymore. You don't want to do them. And so one of the things that I've done a lot with my business is I've made very few plans, but I've created a lot of things. I've experimented with a lot of things. I've explored a lot of different ways of creating things so that I would know what I like, what my clients like, and what's actually going to create more in the world. And sometimes I've gone, oh, I don't think I'll do that again. And a lot of times I've gone, oh, that was fun. I wonder how I can make it even better. And when you create your business from that space, it actually allows for the contribution of the universe. Because one thing with a plan is, unless you're incredibly psychic and accurate with it, you know, and most people aren't, because all of us can change our mind in 10 seconds, then literally you don't know what's coming. And if you plan and only look at what's in your plan, you get this really like narrow tunnel vision kind of focus. Whereas if you actually have a few targets and random ideas that you would like to include, and you're pretty much, well, what's going to make all of this even greater? It allows all of that external inspiration, for want of a better word, to come to you. And it allows your own awareness to kick in, and you'll know when something matches, okay? You'll know when there's this energy that matches. Like, I have known for years and years and years, I would create a membership that was around business. Like, it's been in my plan, so to speak, for years. And a normal business would like put it in the annual plan and create it, right? And I was like in this space of, well, I don't know what it wants to be yet. And I kept talking to it. And I kept saying, okay, well, just show me what you'd like to be. And literally about a month ago, probably a bit less than that, no, about that, I can't remember the time exactly.
Yeah.
It showed me what it wanted to be. And it just, in the showing of it, it literally showed me every single part where I hadn't been able to work it out logically of what it could be. It's like I had all these pieces, but the two little sort of cogs that turned it all together were missing. And the moment those two bits of information came, I was like, okay, we can create it now. And this is where, if you don't have that logical linear planning thing going, the moment something is ready, it's ready. And you can, and we've created it, as Maria knows, really, really, really fast, because she's been part of that with me. And people are like, you do that in 2 weeks? And I'm like, because like when something's ready, it's ready. And so it's this thing of, and sometimes you have to sort of untrain yourself from all the logic and linearity, right? Because that's everyone, like I've got friends who, work as management consultants and things like that. And I love and adore them. And I watch them and they look at my business and they're like, what? And it's really quite fun because they also see that I'm making money, that I'm having fun, that I get to travel around the world, I get to talk to people all over the world all the time, even when I'm not traveling. And they're almost like, how, what, who? And because it's not this very linear process that has occurred, it's all of these different choices that I've made have allowed the magic to show up. So that's one way, that I'm really different. And I mean, you guys might know some other ways I'm different. Maybe you can tell people what you see, because you've both seen me in action in quite different ways. So,
like you were saying about a non-linear way, and that's what I saw. That is moving beyond the comfort zone, like where the magic happens. And I think what I've really learned from you is the planning thing we were just talking about. So that was really cool, because 2 years ago I was in a business and I was cooperating with people who were really into the planning. And I was like, I want to go, I'm just doing it. I'm just stepping, and
can I ask you something about that?
Yeah, sure.
So since you've, I'm going to say, stopped planning and just started creating things, has your business been created faster?
Well, it's creating so fast now that I really want to know some structure.
Of course.
So I'm creating, it's going, because the walls just disappeared and all the ideas come in my mind every day. And now I start writing them down and nurturing them. And I'm just putting them out there in the world. I'm just putting them out there, and I'm having fun, and that's the biggest thing, But yes, definitely a lot of things change, because I thought I had to listen to other people because they knew how to do business. That was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, oh, I have this idea. And they said, well, you have to do that. And you have to plan this and do that. And I was like, okay. And then I felt so bad and I didn't feel happy.
Yeah.
And then I decided after the business event in Amsterdam, just to let it all go. And it's flowing more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the thing, you know, whenever we try and fit into how everyone else thinks we should do it, like my beautiful friends, I love them so much. They were so well-meaning. They try and give me advice. And I'm just like, thank you very much, because they really mean well and they want me to succeed, but their reference points for success and mine are incredibly different. And my way is way more fun. And also I know my way is much faster as well, you know.
Yes.
And that's the joy of what we're talking about. And what we will definitely talk about in those 2 days is how you can get things up and running really quickly, because that actually then allows you to shift and turn and move. And so, yeah, you might have a target way out here, but there's a lot of space for movement on the way. And I think that's a really cool thing. And I'm so glad you're playing like that, Eleanor, because it actually creates magic. Really fun.
It creates magic and fun. And if you have fun, people around you have fun, and everything is going much better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Is there anything you want to tell people about working with me? How it is?
Yeah, for me, Lisa, it's just it's amazing the speed you work with, you know, working with you on the Business Alchemy Lab. And of course, I come from the corporate world, and it's all about planning. And it was really, you know, it was really fantastic the way to see how you create, and how with the speed, it's just so fast you create. And that really is very inspiring for me. And I'd love to learn more of that in the 2 days and when you're here in Amsterdam.
Cool. We can so do that.
Yeah, it's very inspirational. I think you can show a lot of people how you do that, and bring a lot to.
Cool. Yay.
Yay. So the first evening is the 1st of June, and that will be a taster. Can you just shortly explain a little bit about that?
Yeah,
what we'll be doing there?
I'm going to say, bring your questions and let's play. Because, like,
okay,
you know, I mean, I will talk about anything. Really, you know, this is the funny thing, because I've done so much different kinds of business, you know. So I will literally talk about anything you want to talk about. And I will talk about it in the context of what I be and do different that allows it to work with so much ease. And that's an interesting thing too in itself, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'd like it to be hard because then I can prove I'm smart. And I used to do that. And now I'm like, no, I don't think so. You know, people can think I'm stupid. I actually don't care anymore because I'm having so much fun, right? And that's the cool thing about it. So, so that night is just a couple of hours really for people to get to know me and to ask questions and play with me and see if this way of being with business would actually be fun for them. Yeah, that's what I really am inviting people to, is just to see, well, would this be fun for me? Would I like to create my business this way?
Wow.
And Lisa, they can bring some of their projects even on that evening as well.
Yeah, I mean, we might not spend a lot of time actually working on projects, but maybe I'll do a couple of hot seats on that night so people can actually, you know, have an experience of how I would work with people one-on-one. Because when we do the 2-day event, you know, we'll probably have a couple of different things going on at once. I like sort of like looking at what everyone would like to achieve in the 2 days, and then literally just, I don't know, I just play with the group and somehow everyone gets what they need. I can't even explain my process for that. It's a very organic, natural thing for me. But literally it's like, yeah, bring what you've got and let's just see. And there's all sorts of different ways to, and that's the other thing. This isn't like, oh, here's a formula and fit into the formula. It's very much like a very organic process that is very tailored to the people that are in the Playshop and like who they are and where they are at and what they would like to create that is actually going to make a difference to them and the world. Because I think my real target for this is for people to be happy with their work and to enjoy what they're creating. Because when you have that, your entire life gets better, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're leaping out of the bed in the morning with happiness, I mean, that's already a fabulous result.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, good. Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
So what we do, we have a venue for the first, a very nice venue, Maria. And so what if people want to sign up? They can sign up. Just we have this link.
Yeah,
Yes?
Creativity Europe,
No,
Creativity Lab, isn't it?
Creativity Lab. So www.creativitylabeurope.com. Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. And if you go there, you'll actually see the entire Europe trip. And but yeah, of course, Amsterdam is first. So we're doing a fun hangout for Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Well,
so I guess that's the best link that people can refer to
yeah.
for now. And otherwise, they can contact us via
Yeah.
Facebook, etc. So, or message us, whatever's easiest.
Yeah. Cool. Yay. Well, thank you for having me to play today. And I can't wait to see you in real life. That will be really fun. So thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. See you in Amsterdam.
You will.